Hello friends! Welcome to my first video with my new hair, except for the video where my hair was cut. Today's video, judging by the title, is the language tag. I have the questions over here. And number 1, what do you consider to be your native language? Oh dear, here is this difficult question. English, Afrikaans, I don't know, bilingual. So my family is Afrikaans and we speak Afrikaans at home, but I've never been to any Afrikaans schools and I grew up overseas. So I think I've had more exposure to English than I've had to Afrikaans. Can't answer that one. Number 2, what was your first language learning experience? Before we moved to Pakistan, we lived in Paris. And my mom had a French teacher and I was about 2 years old at the time. I think I was 2, and this lady would come to our house, and before my mom had her lesson and sent us to play, I would go to the door and I'd be like, "Bonjour, madame," and I would just greet her there. So I think my first foreign language, actually no, way before that, we lived in Cape Town and they speak Xhosa in that area. And I had this swing that I used to swing on and I called it Yaya, and I would say Molo Yaya to my swing. So Molo means hello in Xhosa, so excuse my pronunciation as well. I think that would be my first foreign language experience. Number 3. What languages have you studied and why did you start them? Can't I just tell you guys to watch my polyglot video because I explained it all there. Oh my goodness. Okay, English, had no choice. Afrikaans, born that way. French, started learning French at school in Pakistan, also Urdu, so those were school subjects. Then we moved to Dubai and I took Arabic at school, so also a compulsory school subject. In 2009 I started learning Korean literally for fun. My mom is like, "Hey, I saw an ad in the paper for free Korean lessons, do you want to go?" I'm like, okay. So that was Korean, and after that, during the time I started learning Korean, I discovered Japanese music and stuff, so I'm like, why don't I learn this too? Then my parents moved to Japan and I was really much more motivated to learn Japanese. Also, during my final exams in high school, we call grade 12 matric here, so during my matric exams I was bored of studying for school and I'm like, I'm gonna learn all the languages, and I started learning Mandarin, Chinese,
Vietnamese, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Thai.
and my most recent language endeavors are Hindi, because I love Bollywood and Hindi music, and Hungarian, since I've met a ton of awesome Hungarian friends, and I'm actually starting with Hungarian lessons. Number 4, how does your personality affect how you learn languages? I don't know what's the right word. I'm very optimistic and enthusiastic and obsessed with things. So as soon as I discover something new, like let's say I watched a Bollywood movie, I'm like, okay, time to learn Hindi, study, study, study. How I learn languages is like something small triggers it and it just snowballs from there. In terms of how I actually study the languages, not just why, I am a very visual person. So books, definitely I'm very tactile. I love books, I love writing, I make notes of everything. And I don't study languages to become fluent and to brag about how many I speak. I study languages because it's relaxing and fun for me. Number 5, do you prefer learning languages in a class or individually? Definitely individually. I can go at my own pace, whether it's like a one-on-one class or if I'm teaching myself. I can do what I want when I want. I can skip over numbers because I hate counting. And I just feel like classes sometimes slow your progress. You'll always get that person who is either too fast or either too slow or not interested. Number 6, what are your favorite language learning materials? These days I've become really interested again in Memrise. I love the system, it's really fast and effective. I guess I'm using apps a lot these days, whereas previously I would just use textbooks. I must say, my favorite way of learning languages is definitely music. I will translate songs, even if I know 2 words in the language, I will go listen to a song and try and translate it. It's so fun for me. Number 7, how much time do you spend actively learning per day or week? None. This is so hard. I don't want you guys to get the impression that I'm some like crazy language person who studies all the time, because I don't. I have a full-time job and a part-time job. And I just try and do something in the language every day. Most of the things I do would be in another language. So the movies I watch, the books I read, behind me, this side, most of those books are Japanese. So, you know, bedtime reading would be in Japanese. I listen to Hungarian radio in the mornings. I phone my friends in Korea. I write my diary in Japanese. So, like, while I'm doing stuff like that, I'll look up words or I'll be reminded of words and it'll get ingrained in my memory. But if I had to give like a numerical estimate, I would say foreign language activity per day would be between 2 to 3 hours, which involves like listening to music and stuff, and actual studying per week would be about 3 hours. So that would be like 3 days a week where I would study for an hour at a time, and it varies from language to language. Number 8, what are your short-term and long-term language learning goals? Short-term, I guess, does 1 year count for short-term? Well, I've just signed up for business Mandarin Chinese lessons, so I guess my short-term language goals would be to improve my Mandarin and my Hungarian. And long-term goals, I would definitely want to be able to use my languages in my career one day. So I'd love to get a job in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam, Singapore, or Hungary. Oh, and I need to up my French. That's really rotten. It's not even funny. Number 9. I knew this question was coming. What is your favorite language? Don't make me choose. I'm very biased, so it kind of changes from time to time. Currently it's Hungarian. I'm absolutely obsessed with studying Hungarian. It just sounds so beautiful. And in my head I just speak to myself all the time. I'm like, Ki hónapján magyarul tanulok, szeretem nyelveket tanulni. And I love it so much. In terms of sound, I think Vietnamese is absolutely beautiful. And writing system, I think I'm very used to Korean, and it's very, very easy to write Hangul, and I think my handwriting is the most advanced in that language. So number 10, what is the next language you want to learn? All the languages I want to learn I'm currently learning, but I guess a surprise could, oh wait, no, Norwegian, definitely Norwegian. It has so many similarities with Afrikaans, it is so weird. I think it'll be not too difficult to learn because of my Afrikaans background. Number 11, what advice can you give to new language learners? The question I get asked the most is, how do you maintain all your languages? For which I still have to come up with an intelligent answer because I just haphazardly study. The second most question I receive the most is, where do you begin when learning a new language? You just begin. Any start is a good start. If you're the type of person to prefer textbooks and lessons, go buy a textbook, go find a teacher, go do that. If you prefer to just learn vocab, do that. If you just want to listen to music and learn basic phrases without learning the alphabet, you do that. The only wrong way to start is to not start. People are so scared of starting because they think they need to prepare themselves. Like, okay, I need to buy a notebook, I need a new pen, I need a textbook, I need a dictionary. No way! I don't even have a Hungarian textbook. It's been 2 months and I'm just learning using apps and the radio and talking to friends. You will find a way. As we learned in middle school, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay guys, that is all 11 questions for the language tag. Thanks for watching guys, see you in the next video, bye!